Barbados Government Information Service moves to remain relevant in an increasingly technological age. The Education Minister issues a challenge to the Barbados Community College. And in sports, the Windies bats failed to flatter in the first T20 against India.
Credible, balanced, committed. This is the CBC Evening News.
And a very good evening to you. I'm Sophia Alsop, Cambridge, with this Sunday, November 4th edition of the CBC Evening News. In our top story tonight, the Barbados Government Information Service, the GIS, has been taking steps to ensure that it remains relevant in an increasingly technological age. That's according to Minister of Information and Broadcasting, Senator Lucille Moe. She made the comments during a service at the Calvary Moravian Church marking the GIS's 60th anniversary.
Over the years, the Barbados Government Information Service has covered hundreds of local and overseas assignments chronicling significant milestones in Barbados' history. 60 years on, the department has grown substantially from one information officer whose main tool was a typewriter. Minister with responsibility for broadcasting, Senator Lucille Moe, says as the world of communications has advanced, so too has the BGIS.
It has increased its reach and government's ability to inform and educate Barbados and the world with a daily updated website. Through the introduction of social media, launched in 2014, it has added a dimension of immediacy through the use of Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter, and its increasingly popular WhatsApp alerts. And let me just say, if you do not want the fake news, go to the Barbados Government Information Services website. Stay off of WhatsApp.
Senator Moe says the department currently operates with limited finances and human resources, and she's promised to try to get new equipment. She praised the efforts of current members of staff, some of who have given between 15 and 30 years of service.
This has led to stability in the department. To the staff, the field in which you work is one which often calls for long and irregular hours. Some days are pressure-filled with deadlines to meet, especially in the current communications environment. I know that several members of staff continue to go beyond the call of duty and must be commended for the continued levels of productivity and high standards.
The department currently employs a staff of 44. Sharika Griffith, CBC News.
Thanks so much, Sharika. And as the Government Information Service celebrates its 60th year of disseminating information to the public, it's being encouraged to do the opposite as well and to listen to the people. The advice is coming from Senior Pastor at the Calvary Moravian Church, Reverend Dr. Adrian Smith. He says only then will the GIS fulfill its mandate of preserving the country's legacy.
Very often we judge people. We think that some people have nothing to contribute or to offer, but even as an information agency, you are called to listen to everybody, or as my former lecturer used to say, you have to filter through the noise. You have to be able to hear everything, but to filter through to the essence of what is being said.
And Reverend Dr. Smith also encouraged staff to learn to love each other.
That may mean sometimes pulling me aside and saying to me, now that hour lunch you're supposed to have, you're taking 2 hours, you gotta stop. Because you know they say about us government workers that you know that you finish work at 4:30, so you can't start work at 3 and give people the impression that you're done for the day. Come on, speak the truth and shame the devil. We are a service provider, and sometimes people come to us bad days. We don't have to reciprocate it.
In other news, safety and security concerns at the Randall Phillips and Winston Scott polyclinics, which are set to be open on a 24-hour basis, are being addressed. The Minister of Health and Wellness, Lieutenant Colonel Jeffrey Bostic, gave the assurance, noting that meetings have already been held with the representing trade unions. The next step, he says, is to examine the expressions of interest.
We have to go back now to the unions and back to the staff with what it is that we want to do so that we can have that buy-in. So I would say that we are at a very advanced stage of the process. But like I said again during that very first press conference, that in spite of the time that we wanted to have these things up and running by, that I would not allow them to start unless I was satisfied with my mind that we were ready to deliver proper service.
Well, in other news, the Barbados Community College has been challenged to step up to the plate as the island continues on its journey of rehabilitation. This from Education Minister Santia Bradshaw as she addressed the 45th graduation ceremony at the college. Lorna Jones has more.
It was an evening to remember for the 2018 graduating class of the Barbados Community College. For the hundreds of graduates receiving their credentials, it represented many hours of hard work and studying. In her featured address, Minister of Education, Technological and Vocational Training, Santia Bradshaw, described the BCC as a critical component in Barbados' development and challenged the institution to take up the reins in helping the labor force recoup. Minister Bradshaw highlighted areas of focus for the institution going forward.
You will develop a slate of new programs at the Barbados Community College, I'm sure, to buttress the retrenched workers' needs for retooling and retraining. You will also participate in the effort to redress the marginalization of males in our post-secondary classroom environment. You will stay focused on your accreditation mission and make sure that by 2020, Barbados Community College can partner with any institution anywhere in the world and not be hindered because you are not accredited. You will lead the way in building out the government's e-commerce and digitization agenda.
The Education Minister pledged government support to the initiatives.
My ministry will continue to provide the technical and financial support to ensure that these priorities are realized, and we will make adjustments in the estimates where necessary. The board has already been given a mandate to cut where they have to look for wastage, but also not to rely simply on government funds, but to get out there and to find other mechanisms for funding the Barbados Community College.
The graduates were reminded of their duty to their country at this pivotal time. Acting Principal of the college, Dr. Cheryl Weeks, congratulated them on their achievements and encouraged them to be the innovators Barbados needs.
We are still experiencing very challenging economic times. The problems that surround us are myriad, and in some cases very overwhelming. But you have an opportunity to add value to your community. You will be called upon to lead discussions, whether in health, politics, environmental science, agriculture, renewable energy. You can and you should make an indelible mark.
This year, the Barbados Community College is also celebrating 50 years of existence. Lorna Jones, CBC News.
Well, as of midnight tonight, there will be an increase in the prices for gasoline, kerosene and liquefied petroleum gas, or LPG, while the price of diesel will remain unchanged at $3.20 per litre. Here's a look at the new prices. Gasoline will now be sold at $3.91 per litre, up from $3.89. That's an increase of 2 cents. While kerosene will now cost $1.54 per litre, up from $1.50. In the meanwhile, the 100-pound cylinder of LPG gas will now retail at $168.42, up from $142.31. That is an increase of $26.11. The price of the 25-pound cylinder will move from $40.68 to $47.20, an increase of $6.52. The price of the 22-pound cylinder will increase by $5.75, up from $35.96 now to $41.71. An increase of $5.22 is on the price of the 20-pound cylinder, and we'll see it being retailed now at $37.91, up from $32.69. As you know, these price adjustments are in keeping with government's policy of allowing retail prices to be reflective of those on the international market. A Switestown resident wants authorities to take more action to preserve the Fort Denmark site in that parish from further erosion. MacDonald Canterbury, who frequents the area daily, says the situation has deteriorated significantly over the past 3 years. Over that time, he says the road leading to the site has broken away and several trees have been uprooted. He says eventually it'll threaten the cannon which remains on the site.
This platform here that we are standing on right now, this was right down to those rocks there. Right down to those rocks, and the other piece of platform, that bottom piece there, that was down to the rocks as well. And it had a ridge, like you can come and sit right on the ridge. Coming up on the ridge, you can come and sit right on the ridge. And it was just down to the rocks, where the rocks there are, and all there they built up. Yeah, so it's just like they see it rebuilt, you know, and strengthen back up and make the place the right way, how it was before.